Are you feeling the way you'd like to feel right now? Are you completely with yourself, comfortable in your skin and in your soul? Can you hardly wait for this new day, looking forward to every second that is lying there in front of you? Now, feel free to type "I feel" and then the first word that comes to mind about your emotional state in the comments. Without wanting to get too close to you, but I could imagine that you did not immediately think, "Sure, everything is just fine." In a survey I started on A Miracle Every Day, it emerged that many people struggle with depression. Now, the word depression is a very big word, but from this survey, I was able to see that people experience depression very differently, and it shows up in very different forms. Sadness, sometimes even unfounded, but experiencing a sense of joy just doesn't seem possible. Lack of drive, this feeling that no matter what you do, it's pointless anyway, and that's why you simply do nothing anymore. Hopelessness, so much has already gone wrong in my life, why should it change now? Fear, the fear of the future, fear of the darkness of this season, fear of the situation in this world. Fears are so widespread. Insomnia, no matter what you do or take, you lie awake in bed for nights on end. Grief, the pain of having lost something or someone in life. Addictions, whether it's an eating disorder, alcohol addiction, or the yearning for approval. Depression may have been the trigger for this, or the other way round. Isolation. One distances oneself from people because something has been taken from one through abuse, for example, and trust in people is difficult to regain. Insecurity. Every step outside the door is difficult because you have heard so often that you are a failure and can no longer see clearly because of all the lies. Doubt. What is the point of believing when I have never sensed God? Why did He allow all this in my life in the first place? Can you identify with one or more of these points? If so, I can already tell you that you are not alone. I too have experienced and lived through the entire spectrum. And before I take you there briefly today and longer in the next 3 videos, let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Deborah Rosenkrantz. I am one of the authors of A Miracle Every Day and its German counterpart, Ein Wunder für jeden Tag, as well as the French counterpart, Un miracle chaque jour. These projects belong to Jesus.net, the largest Christian and evangelistic online platform in the world. That way, I am able to reach more than 100,000 people worldwide every day via an encouraging email, thereby helping them to start the day with God and thus full of faith. These miracles, as I like to call them, are also shown daily on German TV and on various radio stations. I almost wanted to say casually I have written 7 books in German so far around the topic of identity. I write songs that underline the themes of my books, and I got to initiate a facility for women with eating disorders in Switzerland. For over 15 years now, I've been touring through therapeutic facilities, schools, churches, even prisons, to encourage people in their situations. And maybe you already get it. Whoever is so committed to people must have a story. A very memorable moment in my life was when I went to the movies with a severely anorexic woman and she suddenly reached into my popcorn bag. As she did so, she beamed at me and said, "If you've been where I am today, I want to get to where you are today." Yes, where was I? Do you remember all of the points mentioned above? Sadness, lack of drive, hopelessness, anxiety, insomnia, sadness, addictions, isolation, insecurity, doubt. I experienced every single one. and I still have to fight some of them from time to time. But with one significant difference. Today I know how to fight against them. In the Psalms it is written, "Though I walk in the midst of trouble, you preserve my life. You stretch out your hands against the anger of my foes. With your right hand you save me. The Lord will vindicate me. The Lord will vindicate me. Your love, Lord, endures forever. Do not abandon the works of your hands." I don't know which of the points just mentioned applies to you, but I know one thing for sure. Behind each point, there is a personal need. And here, David, during his distress, proclaims that the Lord will bring everything to a good end for him. Can you, as of today, already say that with that exact level of certainty? I couldn't do it when I heard how the doctors gave me only 3, maximum 4 weeks to live during a severe anorexia. But in this case, my parents could, despite all the sleepless nights and struggles, because they were so strongly connected to God, like I was not at that time. Was I able to say that the Lord would bring everything to a good end after I had been raped? Oh no, certainly not. Not in my own strength. But my strength was enough to let me fall under the cross at church on Easter Sunday and sob, "I want to trust you, help me." Years later, when I had my self-worth completely destroyed in a narcissistic relationship and was unceremoniously replaced by a younger woman before the planned wedding, I fell into the deepest hole of my life. In this darkness, I wanted to put an end to my life. You certainly realize that I definitely could not believe that the Lord would bring everything to a good end in this situation. But when I look back today, I see in each of these moments, however terrible, God's, yes, despite everything, God's protection that did not allow these experiences to destroy me. Quite the contrary. Today I can say, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. And I can promise you this today. Whatever is bothering you, whatever has happened to you, I believe that the Lord will bring everything to a good end, and yes, that He will bring good out of it, even if you, like me at that time, cannot see it yet. When I have to go through such dark times today, I go differently, because I have experienced so often that the end was just not the end, but often a wonderful new beginning. And so I ask God at these times, what kind of wonderful story do you want me to write through this? Of course, I often hurt a lot. Of course, I still cry today, but I have peace deep in my heart. Why? Because I have chosen to walk through the dark valleys with the one who promises me in Isaiah 57:15, I live in a high and holy place, but also with the one who is contrite and lowly in spirit, to revive the spirit of the lowly and to revive the heart of the contrite. I understand when your heart hurts. I understand when you are disappointed. I encourage you with the words from the letter to the Hebrews, simply because I know that it is the truth also for your life. So do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded. This is the first of 4 videos titled Hope Encountered, Finding the Light in Your Darkness, that I have prepared for you to encourage you, especially at this time. Be there tomorrow as well, because I want to go even deeper. Feel free to share this with your friends who you know aren't feeling the way they could be feeling right now either. And feel free to leave a like to show that this video did you good. Miracles happen when we go on together. You are a miracle.